Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel where we break down the celebrity stories that have everyone talking. Today, we need to talk about something a little strange and honestly kinda creepy. So you'll remember when Diddy showed up on the Ellen DeGeneres show and had a moment that made a lot of people raise their eyebrows. It looked like just another funny interview on daytime TV, but if you really pay attention, it felt off. Diddy looked Ellen and Twitch dead in the eye and said something like, "Don't tell these people how far back we go." He laughed it off and joked about the tapes and said, "I don't want no problems." Even Twitch laughed nervously. At the time, most people didn't think anything of it. But now that more stuff is coming out, fans are going back to that moment and asking, what was Diddy really talking about? What kind of tapes? Why the weird tension? Well, now things are heating up again because people are saying that Twitch, who was Ellen's DJ and later an executive producer on her show, might have known some very dark secrets. And those secrets might be the reason why he's no longer here. Allegedly, Twitch found out something about Ellen and Diddy's relationship, and maybe even about something bigger involving other people and some nasty stuff going on behind closed doors. Some people say Diddy and Ellen like to joke about these things out in the open, right in front of people, because it made them feel powerful, like they were daring people to catch on. And honestly, watching that clip now, it does feel strange. Diddy and Ellen talked like they had inside jokes and like there were things they knew that the audience didn't. It wasn't just a regular celebrity interview. Now, here's where it gets even more wild. You'll remember that Wayfair drama from a few years ago? You know, the whole thing where Wayfair was accused of selling super expensive furniture, like plain old cabinets, for over $10,000. And they had names like Naraya, Uritza, Olivia, and other names that just so happened to match missing children. At the time, people were saying it was just a conspiracy theory. But now some folks believe it was actually true, and that Ellen was involved. Yes, you heard that right. People think Ellen might have had something to do with illegal transportation of people through Wayfair. And guess what? Ellen's name came up a lot during that whole scandal. People said it made total sense that she was connected because she was one of the main celebrities working with Wayfair back then. The timing? Super suspicious. It was around the same time people started questioning why Ellen was selling super weird furniture and why she seemed to disappear from the spotlight for a bit. Some people even remember looking at Wayfair and seeing old school lockers for thousands of dollars. Like, who would pay that much for something that looks like it came out of a high school? But now they say it might have been a cover-up for something darker. Something about moving people around using those expensive products. And here's where Twitch comes in again. Rumors say that right before he died, he was planning to speak out about Ellen's connection to Wayfair, and even about how Diddy was involved too. Some believe Twitch may have learned too much, and that's what led to his tragic end. These are all just allegations, of course, but the timing, the people involved, and the way everything played out? It has a lot of people asking questions. And it doesn't stop there, because we still need to talk about the toxic workplace at Ellen's show and how Twitch may have suffered in silence for a long time while trying to support her. Now let's talk about what was happening behind the scenes at the Ellen DeGeneres show, the stuff that wasn't on camera. See, while Twitch was smiling and dancing on screen, a lot was going wrong at that show, and it was no secret. There were BuzzFeed reports and people coming forward saying that the show had become a really toxic place to work. Some said it was full of racism, bullying, and fear. One black woman who worked there told BuzzFeed that she had to deal with offensive comments and microaggressions all the time. When she got hired, someone high up on the show said something rude about her box braids and joked that they'd get confused between her and another black employee because of their hair. Another writer even told her, "I only know the names of the white people who work here." Like, what? That's not just rude, that's completely out of line. And even though Ellen went on TV and said she was sorry and that things would change, many people didn't believe her. They felt like she only said that because she got caught. A lot of the former workers said that the producers and managers were the ones who made things toxic, but at the end of the day, Ellen's name is on the show. The Ellen DeGeneres Show was her brand. Her name was on the screen, her name was on the underwear, her name was everywhere. So shouldn't she have taken real responsibility for how people were treated? Now imagine being Twitch, a black man, an executive producer, and someone who was publicly standing by Ellen when the internet was dragging her. That had to be heavy. People were asking, why is he supporting this woman? And some were even blaming him for what was happening at the show. That's a lot for one person to deal with, especially when he was already under pressure from working on the show day after day. One of Twitch's close friends, Todrick Hall, actually spoke up about that. He said that when he and Twitch talked about everything going on with Ellen, Twitch seemed really stressed and overwhelmed. He said Twitch looked like he had so much on his mind and said, "It's a lot. It's a lot." It's like he was carrying all this weight from the drama at work, but he didn't want to let it show. And that pressure, it didn't seem to stop. What's even more upsetting is that people say Ellen didn't really support Twitch back when he was dealing with all that. Even though he stood by her during the worst of her cancellation, it sounds like she used the scandal to put more stress on him. Instead of helping him through it, she may have made things worse. And maybe that's part of why he felt like he couldn't keep going. There was even a note Twitch left behind before he died. The police didn't share everything in it, but they said it talked about past challenges he was still struggling with. According to Todrick, those challenges weren't just personal. They were connected to the workplace problems at Ellen's show. And that makes it even sadder to think about what he was really going through behind the smile. But here's where it gets even more mysterious. The rumors say that all of this, Twitch's pressure, Ellen's toxic workplace, the strange connection to Wayfair, might also be tied to her friendship with Diddy. And fans have started looking deeper into that relationship. Because over the years, Diddy was on Ellen's show a lot. And when you watch those old interviews now, something feels off. Let's dig into the next layer of this story, the one that has fans doing double takes at Ellen's friendship with Diddy and the strange way Twitch's wife, Alison Holker, acted after he passed away. First, let's go back to those old interviews between Ellen and Diddy. There's one in particular that people can't stop watching now. In it, Diddy is asking Ellen why she never comes to his parties. At first, it just sounds like friendly joking. You know, two celebs having a laugh. But when you really listen, it's low-key weird. He tells her that the party starts at 9:30, and she acts surprised like that's super early. Then they talk about how the party keeps going past midnight, and Diddy says, "That's a different kind of party." Ellen immediately knows what he means. She laughs and agrees, like they're both in on something nobody else understands. And then he adds that they have the top 2 floors of the hotel for the after-party. Like, what kind of after-party needs 2 whole floors? What stood out to fans is that Ellen didn't say no to the party because of what might go on at those events. She only said they were too far away. That made people wonder, what really happens at these parties, and how much does Ellen know? Especially now that Diddy is facing serious accusations about the kind of stuff that goes down at his events. If Ellen was being invited to every single party and had that close of a relationship with him, then what was she turning a blind eye to? But now let's talk about Twitch's widow, Alison Holker, because things get even more suspicious from here. After Twitch passed, a lot of people expected Alison to be grieving and private. But what happened instead? She started doing interviews, sharing very personal details, and posting on social media in a way that some fans thought felt off. Even more shocking, Twitch's own family said they were being blocked from seeing his kids, and that Alison made them sign NDAs just to attend the funeral. Yes, non-disclosure agreements, just to say goodbye. Twitch's cousin Daryl came forward and said Alison was trying to control the narrative and even called her out for being shady. She claimed Alison was tarnishing his legacy and keeping the kids away from their grandparents. And Twitch's brother Dre backed her up, saying the family has been cut off because they didn't agree with the NDA Alison made them sign. But that's not even the strangest part. In one interview, Alison said she was cleaning out Twitch's closet and found hidden substances, things like mushrooms and pills, stashed in his shoeboxes. She said she had to look them up on her phone because she didn't know what they were. That shocked a lot of people, especially because she had always said they had honest communication about his marijuana use. So if they talked about everything, why would he need to hide anything? She also said that in the days before his death, Twitch was acting withdrawn, not showering as often, and smoking in the morning and at night. But again, fans were confused because in public, he looked happy and normal. And if things were that serious, why didn't she raise the alarm earlier? Then came the most heartbreaking part. Alison revealed that Twitch had written in his journals about being sexually assaulted as a child by a male figure. She said those entries showed that he was holding in a lot of pain, trying to protect the people he loved from carrying his burden. But even with all that being said, many people still feel like something doesn't add up. Some are even starting to ask, if Alison wasn't being honest about what really happened that day, then what else is she hiding? And more importantly, was she working alone, or was she part of something much, much bigger? Stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe, because what we uncovered next will leave you speechless.